Alright, here we go. Sorry if I look a little weird again. I was not prepared for this video. I was just at the studio, you know, working on the next album as always. The Fantano review has dropped. Alright, I've put my phone on Do Not Disturb. It's all the way over in that room over there. This could really go anywhere, alright? He's got me, he's got my whole fan base on strings, alright? And it's just one guy's opinion, you know? But I care, okay? I care. You know, many years ago, I've tweeted things like this, saying, at one point in my life, if Fantano ever reviews my album and gives it a 4 or above, or like some shit like that, I will be so content for the rest of my life. So let's hope that that happens and that hasn't aged horribly. So far, the album's been getting actually pretty good reviews and feedback from people who normally hate me, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, the most common review that I've been seeing is like, I always thought that this guy was just some corny, horrible YouTube rapper. He might actually be okay, I guess. That's like my favorite review. Here we go, not a red flannel. Let's fucking go.
Hi everyone, Anthony Fantano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and...
Wait, this is really weird. He's actually reviewing my album. Dude, like, this is actually crazy. Like, if you told this to 16-year-old Quadeca that Fantano would be reviewing your album and he wouldn't have a red flannel, that would be pretty good.
It's time for a
I just got nervous
review
now.
of the new Quadeca record, From Me to You. Quadeca is an American rapper who built a very passionate following for himself on the YouTube platform for a good portion of the 2010s. In the past few years, I've been hearing more and more about him, especially since the release of his 2019 record, Voice Memos, a project that showed a lot of chops, but not necessarily a lot of vision, in my opinion. However, I was kind of blown away when I got my first taste of this new record over here through the track Sisyphus, which is a real powerhouse of a song with multiple passages, elegant and sorrowful vocal harmonies on an acoustic intro, dramatic rap verses embellished with pounding drums and strings, a jubilant chorus underscored by a tight trap beat and entrancing synth arpeggios. The production on this track is grand, glitchy, textured. I like the lyrical themes of heartbreak and isolation, and the way the metaphor of a mountain climb plays into that. Keep in mind, this is a theme that recurs on the record too.
Yes, sir.
I genuinely think Sisyphus is one of the better tracks of 2021, and hope...
One of the better tracks of 2021? Okay, we're gearing up. We're gearing up for that big however. You know what I'm saying? But hey, if we just end the review right here, this is I'm happy.
Hopefully the mark of a new chapter in Quadeca's career. The sound he's going
really
for
good.
here is so radically different than almost anything on Voice Memos. The level of ambition here is really something to behold, but once again, I came away from this LP feeling like Quadeca still has some work to do on the execution side, because...
Okay. So if that's sort of the thesis, one thing about this album, not to interrupt this because I'm very excited to watch the rest of it, this album was made over such a long period of time in which I was like learning so much while I was making the record. The version of me as an artist, by the time I finished the album, when I did Sisyphus, which was one of the latest songs that I made on the album, I felt like I had grown from even the earlier cuts from it, you know? I think that's a valid take. All right.
How From Me to You falters really depends on the track you're listening to or what section of the album you're in the midst of. There are moments where, once again, we get songs that are painfully derivative, just now derivative of other sounds and artists, as entire sections of Summit Part 1 sound like a sad, reverb-soaked Joji-style piano ballad. And Shades of Us reads like the worst interpretation of Frank Ocean's songwriting style I've heard in...
The worst interpretation!
...a while. And in the past couple years, there's been no shortage of Frank clones. But much
the worst interpretation of Frank Ocean? That's a little harsh, bro. I thought it was a little catchy pop tune. we started off like this. Now we're like down here. All right. I hear the Frank Ocean. I feel like as the song goes on, I think it deviates pretty far from Frank Ocean. Like, there's this 4 on the floor beat that is accompanied with like a rap verse, outro with like these booming basses, and that sounds like I'm trying to do the review for you. No, you actually want the rattling hi-hats, and you're picking out the wrong parts of the song. There are worse Frank Ocean interpretations, Sorry, I'm not trying to come across petty. I'm just trying to interact with the content that I'm engaging with, but I'm not trying to sound super defensive or like, this is genius. I'm trying to justify my my actions right now. Principal calls home, and you gotta talk to your mom when you get back home, explaining what, you know.
I wasn't trying to be like Frank Ocean. I was trying to do something else.
Much of the time on this
what I'm
LP,
saying.
I do think Quadeca showcases a decent amount of creativity and originality, especially on
Hell
the
yeah.
production end. Take the song Maybe Another Day, for example, which at its core is another piece of twinkly emo rap, but it's greatly enhanced with intricate and intensely surreal instrumentation, plus all the delays and pitched vocals. So not only am I impressed by the sound of this LP, but by how much of that sound comes down to Quadeca producing it too. Yes, he's producing a good deal of these tracks.
Yes,
that
sir.
being said, though, even when he is going above and beyond to impress sonically or conceptually, he still can't help but shoot himself in the foot with these overly aggravated verbose verses that are so unnecessarily busy sometimes to the point where
I knew this part was coming.
I mean, sometimes less can be more, but that's clearly not an axiom that he was operating by on this record for good
pretty
and
much, yeah.
for bad. The song Candles on Fire, the good of that track, in my opinion, is the glitchy, epic, over-the-top production, the passionate rapping. But the bad of the track is just how deeply engrossed it is in the minor trappings of relative internet fame, all of which just feels way too low stakes for a presentation this big. Also take the...
It's actually an interesting critique. That hadn't really occurred to me before. That's a good critique. I don't have much to say about that. You know, I feel like everybody at different levels of whatever they're doing feels a lot of pressure, and it's just coming from my experience, and if my experience is talking about, you know, being over-dramatic about minor internet fame, I guess that's my cross to bear, you know? I thought Candles on Fire, that was a shoo-in for the favorite tracks. I guess he's somewhat indifferent on it.
Smiling at the Ground, where Quadeca shows off a natural knack for writing pop hooks. But then the downside of this track is the very wordy and bitter rapping, and I get the concept of him portraying a psychotic fan and then also a greedy music industry person too. Things I understand are not good, but for the most part, these portrayals read like cheap effigies that he's just easily knocking over and then flexing at his ability to do that. One more...
I can see where that critique comes from, because I'm trying to do a lot on that song. Like, I'm having every verse is a different perspective, and it's to be a short kind of like pop tune, but also have that kind of thematic arc to it. And I think I kind of set myself up for going a little more surface level, just explaining where my choices are.
All of the overblown filler interludes and instrumental passages, many of which are way too reverb-soaked to land and drag on forever.
I like the interludes. That's my favorite part. You know, I wanted the album to feel kind of like a transportative, stormy mountain terrain, you know? And so with some of these songs where they're super maximal and there's a lot of shit going on, I sort of felt like these ambient interludes added a kind of palate cleanser and space for some of those really busy songs to breathe. The interludes gave me a chance to advance the mountain climb theme of the album, which, you know, that's something I worked hard on. Is it a little bit self-indulgent? Yeah. But, you know, fuck it. I thought it sounded cool.
Plus, its weird Summit Part 2 is basically a reiteration of the last minute of Summit Part 1 with a minor crescendo on the back end. I mostly think we could have gotten the same point across tightening it all up and making it one song. One thing I will...
There's so much going on in the album and so many big transformations through it that I wanted this closer to sort of, you've made it to that summit and you're just sitting there and you're looking down and you're feeling the wind swirl around you and you're just sort of admiring the beauty of the moment and, you know, reflecting on what you did to end up there, you know? That was the reason for that choice there. I'm just trying to give context to my decisions because I don't know, maybe somebody will find that interesting.
Though it's not one note, far from it. For the sake of variety, Quadeca does manage to work some bangers into the track list. These tracks do vary in quality though. Where'd You Go is so grating and obnoxious on multiple levels. I barely want to get into it.
God damn it! I had a feeling this was coming.
However, I did think Burning Bridges and Long Way were much easier to swallow by comparison. This song is essentially Quadeca's take on that classic, overly aggressive, distorted SoundCloud rap form, but if you essentially tried to get more demented with it, and it actually works. I like how he changes up his tone and style on this track, lyrically and vocally, but still manages to stick to this record's themes of mental health, isolation. As you can imagine, Burning Bridges is about doing just that, socially speaking. There's a really cold IDK feature on here as well. Then the track Work is about his work, essentially, or being a workaholic in general. Instrumentally, this track is like an industrial piece of noise trap. The Play That Boy Zay feature is great too, though I do think the song does lose a little bit of steam in the second half as Quadeca tries to really home in on the theme of the song by making it like a teachable moment, really trying to get across the downsides and sacrifices of being so dedicated, which, I don't know, if you were reading into the song beyond just how in your face and angry it sounds on the front end, that message, that idea was made pretty apparent already. Look, again, I came away from this LP impressed with Quadeca's ambition, his ability to, goddamn, like, produce like a beast. But Lord, if some of the vocal performances on here aren't cringe, and the bars, the Hakuna Matata line,
I knew that was coming. I like to put in sort of my, personality and humor that might not land for everybody. And I think the ones that jump out at people are the most obnoxious ones. I do feel like I'm getting less cringy by the day. I have faith in myself.
Fortunate, because there are so many moments on this LP where I can tell that Quadeca's intentions are pure, but it still doesn't change the fact that some of the verses here just leave a lot to be desired. The content is not really all that intriguing much of the time. Hopefully Quadeca is able to take the incredible ideas he's forged on this project, push forward with them, and in the future deliver something that is a lot more compelling and a lot less bloated. Feeling a decent 2 strong 5 on this one. Transition, have you given...
All right, a strong 5. I'll take it. What was it? My lifelong goal has been fulfilled. Thank you, Anthony Fantano. That was pretty interesting. I feel like I got a lot of good insight watching that and sort of listening to what he was saying and reflecting on what I was doing. What critique do I disagree with him the most? Probably on the interludes. I just like the interludes. I like the way that they sound. Or the Shades of Us slander was a little bit extreme. I'm standing up for Shades of Us, okay? Hopefully I didn't come across as too much of a pretentious asshole or like defensive about my. Of course I'm gonna wanna defend my album because it's my album and it's my heart and my soul. But no, I thought it was actually a very well reasoned review, and he did a good job. It wasn't just, this guy, he's a pro. Overall, what should we give Anthony? I'm feeling a decent 7 on this review. Sisyphus, maybe another day, Burning Bridges work. Alright, interesting picks. Personally, those are some of my favorites on there too. But I am disappointed there was no mention of People Pleaser or It's All a Game. Or, I guess he did reference the interlude, but Swallowed the Key interlude is, that's like a kind of a song. I feel like for a lot of people those are standout tracks, so I would have been interested in hearing his thought on those. But obviously he's not going to go into all the detail of the album and everything in a 7-minute review. If you haven't heard the album, give it a listen, because I think regardless of your original assumptions of how you first found me or what kind of artist you think I am, there is going to be something that you find interesting in the album. And I spent a really long time on the production details and the theme of the project and the way the lyrics tie into each other and all that sort of stuff, where I feel like even if you're my hater, I feel like there's something that you could appreciate about it. That's my ad. So for the people who are watching this who haven't listened to the album, that is me trying to get you to listen to the album. My fans, I'll take a 5 at this point. That's pretty much how I'm feeling. I got to do a meme comment just in time. I was this close to forming my own opinion. Obviously, don't go dislike his video. It's a totally fair review, and he wasn't like shitting on it by any means. He was just kind of like, I like some of this, I don't like some of that, whatever, Hopefully you enjoyed my take on Anthony Fantano's review. Even the fact that we're getting a Fantano review is a significant achievement, and I'm very excited for the future because I feel like I am a better artist now, and I want to make better art now. I want to do better things, and then make a better album, and then after I make that album, then make a better album after that, and I'm excited. But now I got to do that, and then I'm gonna go disappear and take a 40-year hiatus, and then come back with another album. And yeah, thanks for watching. Peace.